Today is Tuesday, Parashat Vayigash, and we're learning the Gemarah Chok Leisrael, and there are some interesting pieces of advice here in this Gemarah that I guess can be used in every day and age. So, right here towards the end of this portion in the Gemarah, it says, Rav ale bene shibole. Rav once entered a field of stalks of grain. So there was wheat. Chazanu de kanaifan, and he saw the stalks of wheat moving in the wind. Amaleu inaifat itnufe. So when he saw them that they were swaying, and they were like swaying, sort of suggesting a certain idea of pride maybe, he told these grains, these stalks of grain or stalks of wheat, he told them, you can swing as much as you want. Hafuche be'iskat minach. Engaging in business brings more profit than being a farmer, than having this wheat, a field of wheat. Amar Rava me'azuze be'iska, to illustrate this point that business would be more profitable than being a farmer. Rava says 100 zuz, let's say $100 be'iska in a business venture, kol yoma bisra vechamra. Every day you would eat meat and drink wine. Otherwise, you would be affluent and be able to afford meat and wine. Me'azuze be'ara, and if you invest the same amount of money in the field to be a farmer, milcha v'chafura, then you'll be able to eat vegetables with salt, not be able to afford meat and wine. Velot, and not just that, ela meganya le'ara, but he brings the person to have to lay down on the ground at night to guard his field so nobody steals the fruits that are there. Umramia le tigre, and causes him fights and arguments with his neighbors regarding territorial, the border between each field. You know that he's going to say that your neighbor wants some of your property, seeing that it's his. So it could be problems when actually business would be more profitable and not as much trouble as being a farmer. Amar Rav Papa zera velat ezbin. Rav Papa says, zera velat ezbin. Better to plant your own vegetable garden or field to eat from your own fields rather than buying afalgav dechihada deninu hane mevarchan. Even if the cost ultimately is the same, whether you plant your own fruits and vegetables or you buy them from the market, and if the cost is the same, the ones that you grew at home, the ones that you took care of at home, would be blessed more than the ones that you buy. When somebody is involved more in having his own field produce, his own sustenance, there is more of a blessing involved. It will last longer than the ones that you buy from the market. Zbin velat tezul. Sell some of your belongings rather than be disgraced by having to beg or to starve. In other words, if you have some items that you can sell in order to use the money to sustain yourself, that would be better. But it says here, but when you sell these items, it should be maybe some luxury items, certain things that are absolutely necessary, but your own clothing, that there are certain things that you don't sell that you need for living, but if there are things that are luxurious items, it's better to sell them rather than to be disgraced by having to beg for support. Tum velat tashpitz. If you have a hole in the wall, fix it quickly so that you won't have to make a bigger hole and a bigger improvement, a bigger fixing. In other words, when you see something that needs to be fixed, fix it right away before it gets worse. Shpitz velat tivne, shekol haosek bebinyan mitmasken. And it's better to fix something rather than to build it new, because when you build something new, when you do any kind of new home improvements, it will cost more than what you had in mind, because it could even cause a person to become poor. So many stories are of people who started building a building, and they discovered that no matter how much they were told it was going to cost, it ended up costing a lot more. So it's better to leave something the way it is, just If you have to repaint it. If you have to do some minor touch-ups on it, that will be a lot less costly than having to start fresh, because once you start building, it'll cost you more than what you think. Kfos zbin ar'a meton nesib iteta. If you have to make a decision about buying real estate, just jump and do it. Be quick in buying land, because owning real estate is always typically a good thing. But when you come to marry, take your time, be deliberate in taking a wife. Consider all the aspects and don't rush to decisions to take a wife. Take your time in making the right decision. But in real estate, typically, any real estate that is bought typically is a good financial move. But in getting married, take your time, make the decision carefully with whom you get married. Nechit darga nesib iteta. Go down a step in choosing your wife. Because if you have a wife that is of a superior position or rank or standing than you, she might put on airs and not be content with her husband's social or financial position. So therefore, he gives advice here, go down one step and marry a wife. But when you come to choose a friend, sak darga behar shushbina, go up a step in selecting a good friend, because a good friend that is at a higher level than you, you'll be able to benefit from his association. So when you choose a friend, choose one that is higher than you. When you choose a wife, choose one that is one step lower rather than one step higher. These were some words of advice from the Gemarah of today in Chok Leisrael. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.